President Trump talked a whole lot about the sorry state of infrastructure throughout this campaign. And for me, I hoped his rhetoric meant that the days of underinvesting in our roads and railways, airports and tunnels, trains and mass transit systems were over. Turns out, I couldn't have been more wrong. We know something about outdated infrastructure here in New Jersey. Every day, our bustling economy puts our transportation networks to the test. And for so many New Jerseyans, it unfortunately seems we are failing the test. In recent weeks, traffic jams and train delays and derailments have caused commuters endless headaches and aggravation. Whether you're stuck in traffic or waiting for a late train in Penn Station, getting around New Jersey has been an absolute disaster. And people are rightfully angry and frustrated. We all deserve better. But things aren't going to get better under the Trump administration's budget. They're going to get worse. At a time we desperately need bold investments in repairs and upgrades to our infrastructure, the Trump administration hands us a budget that will only lead to more delays, more frustration, and more money out of the pockets of commuters. It's an insult to travelers everywhere. The budget sends a clear message from Washington. If you're tired of sitting in traffic or waiting in a crowded Penn Station platform from a train, suck it up and get used to it. That's basically the message. Let me explain what this budget does to New Jersey in one context of what it means nationally. First, it eliminates the New START program, the key federal funding source for the Gateway project, the new Trans-Hudson tunnels we want to have, our nation's most important, most critical infrastructure project, to build new Hudson tunnels and replace the century-old Portal Bridge in Kearney. Think about that. The heart of the Northeast Corridor, an area that produces a fifth of the nation's gross domestic product, $3.7 trillion, and President Trump's budget writes off Gateway as a parochial project. But the damage to New Jersey doesn't stop there. Trump's budget scraps the Tiger program that funded so many important projects, from the modernization of Port Newark to street redesign in Camden. Then it makes massive cuts to Amtrak at a time when critical repairs are needed at New York Penn Station, and New Jersey commuters are bracing for what some are calling the summer from hell. And finally, it takes a whopping $95 billion out of the Highway Trust Fund. But for months, we've been told not to worry about these cuts. Why? Because the White House claimed that there was a secret, far better, trillion-dollar infrastructure plan coming down the pike. But that trillion-dollar investment has nowhere to be found in the budget sent to Congress this week. It doesn't exist. It's just another alternative fact. This budget is based on smoke and mirrors instead of real solutions. It's built on quicksand instead of sound footing. There's just $200 billion in funding, and to give you a sense of that, if we kept the present rate of funding over the course of 10 years, that would be $550 billion. And that's before you even factor that amount that I just mentioned, the $200 billion. That's before you even factor those painful deep cuts to Amtrak, to New Starts, and Tiger grants. In fact, it's a mere drop in the bucket of what we need to keep our trains running and our roads safe. So what the administration's answer to our needs is, shift the cost to the states and the private sector. What does that really mean for New Jersey? 2 words: more tolls. That's right. The Trump administration's answer to our transportation needs is putting more toll booths on our interstates. That means having to dig deep in your own pockets to pay to drive on routes 80, $78, $287, $195, or $295. New Jerseyans already pay high tolls on the Turnpike and Parkway and our river crossings. We've had to swallow a gas tax hike to replenish our state's transportation trust fund. The last thing we need or can afford is more tolls. The bottom line is, under the president's budget, projects that don't make a profit don't get federal funding. Let me say that again. Under the president's budget, their vision is that projects that don't make a profit don't get federal funding. And as a policy, that's simply wrong. Eisenhower didn't create our federal highway system because it could make giant corporations more money. He did it because he knew that connecting America's communities would help all Americans make more money. Filling a pothole may not turn a profit, but leaving it unfilled can cost a family thousands of dollars when they lose a wheel. This budget shortchanges New Jersey and cuts the legs out from the very efforts to end the nightmare that commuters face on our roads and rails every day. So look, failing to invest in our transportation system and travel infrastructure doesn't save us money. We see that, the legacy of what's happening at Penn Central today. Americans spend nearly 7 billion hours sitting in traffic every year collectively. Think about that wasted time. For New Jersey parents, that time could have been spent with kids around the breakfast table or later in the day. For our businesses, that's products stuck in traffic, bottlenecks, and fewer goods getting to customers. All told, New Jersey drivers pay $2,600 out of their own pockets due to these inefficiencies. And for our economy as a whole, road congestion causes us to waste more than 3 billion gallons of fuel every year, to the tune of about $160 billion. That doesn't account for the lives lost amid our crumbling, outdated infrastructure. We saw it when an interstate collapsed into the Mississippi River in 2009. We saw it when an Amtrak train in Philadelphia and a New Jersey Transit train in Hoboken weren't equipped with life-saving positive train control when it derailed and killed 9 people. And in 2015 alone, over 35,000 Americans died in traffic crashes. All of these problems, not just traffic on our roads, but delays in our airports, derailments in our railways, is the result of years and years of underinvestment in our infrastructure. As the ranking member of the Senate Transit Subcommittee, I have fought tirelessly to reverse that trend. Earlier this year, I helped secure record funding for New Jersey in the budget passed by Congress for the remainder of 2017. That agreement sends New Jersey Transit over $600 million for capital projects to begin improving reliability and safety for commuters at Penn Station. It also guarantees us $1 billion that our state will put to work rebuilding roads, bridges, sidewalks, and bike lanes. I'm also doing everything I can to bring our state more grant dollars. Just this week, we secured $10 million for New Jersey Transit to help fund positive train control, or PTC, in their system. We all know that investments in positive train control save lives, and they can prevent tragedies like we saw in Philly and Hoboken. And these funds will help New Jersey Transit install PTC sooner rather than later. New Jersey also has 2 transit projects in the New Starts pipeline for the first time: the Portal Bridge replacement and the new Hudson tunnels, key components of the Gateway program to dramatically enhance rail service on the Northeast Corridor. But all that is in jeopardy under this awful budget. That's why today I'm writing to the Secretary of Transportation, asking her to protect the billions of dollars headed to New Jersey for Gateway. We can't afford to go backwards. During the president's campaign, he said all the right things. talked about our need to compete globally. He talked about buying American and hiring American. And he talked about making our infrastructure the envy of the world once again. Now the rubber has met the road. And under the Trump budget, it's a road to ruin. It's a road that leads us to more delays, more missed opportunities, more frustration, more money out of the pockets of New Jerseyans who deserve better. So, not on my watch. This budget's shortcomings shortchanges New Jersey big time, and I intend to fight it with everything I have.